it's Matt Mills here for Antihero magazine, and lock up your baseball caps because I'm here with Riley Gale from Power Trip. It's good to see you, man. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing extremely well, thank you. And you've just nailed an excellent set on the main stage of Bloodstock. How did it go from your end?
It was great. Not what I expected at all.
Better than expected?
Yeah, I mean, I think that might have been the most people we've ever played to.
Oh, no way.
Either that or probably Hellfest a couple years ago. And to do that before noon was really, really cool. I've never played a show before noon. So it's nice. You know, wake up, roll out of bed, run a half marathon. Wake up, roll out of bed, do a 40-minute set. Good stuff. It was good. Crowd was amazing.
Yeah, you did really well when you played Executioner's Tax. Everyone was really into it.
Yeah. We like to have that one come out of nowhere. That's the hit, I guess. So, you know.
Of all the Power Trip songs, is that the one that always does the best when you're live?
Yeah. That's the single. I think, that's the one that everyone seems to listen to the most. It's the entry point for a lot of our newer fans. So yeah, we don't save it for last, but we don't play it first either.
And obviously you're still out promoting your latest album, Nightmare Logic, which came out last year. And on the album, it's very much a throwback to like old school 80s thrash metal. Is that the intention you always have with these albums, or is that not what you want to do at all?
No, I mean we. It's a good question. We like all the classics. There's just not a lot of newer records that really just grab us in a lot of ways. It's certainly not anything that we want to be influenced by, and if it's not broke, don't fucking fix it.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, we make our records sound the way that we like our records to sound. So if people think that's old school, then whatever.
And I read in an interview with you before that Power Trip doesn't use double bass drumming.
No double
you're
bass.
Dead against it. And I was just wondering why.
It's not against it. I just think it's a cool rule in terms of keeping it rock and roll, and I think it challenges us as songwriters to keep things interesting with kind of a minimalist sort of approach. There's a French school of writing called the Oulipo that they purposely put restrictions on things that they write. Like maybe there's a guy who tried to write a novel without using the letter E or D or something like that. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
It's like a challenge to ourselves. Let's see what we could do without double bass. See how hard we can be without double bass.
Is it something?
I think it works.
Is it something that you ever think
Less
will
is
sneak
more.
its way in?
Less is more. No. Nope. In fact, we just did a cover where there is double bass in the song, and we changed it to single kick, and I think it sounds better.
What did you cover?
Can't tell you.
Oh, okay.
It's a secret.
Is it part of maybe a third album or something?
No.
Okay.
We did a single. We have a single with an original track, and then the B-side is a cover.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I need to ask about a third album anyway. Is there any progress with that? Have you written anything?
We're kicking around some ideas. I've got some stuff written in my phone. Blake is always writing riffs and recording them. So things are in the ether, but nothing. We just haven't had time to sit down and work on anything. Straight up, that's it. So yeah, it'll be probably next year, sometime next year.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna make people wait 4 years again.
Yeah.
Certainly not.
I was going to ask because there was that big sort of gap between the two albums. What was the reasoning behind that, and do you think it maybe affected the band's momentum in any way at all?
No, we were touring.
Okay.
Yeah, to get that album out sooner may have helped us career-wise, maybe a little sooner. But I think it came out at the right time. I think it came out at a time where people were really wanting an album that sounded like what we were doing. And so No, I don't regret anything in terms of how long it took to write. I mean, it wasn't even us taking a long time to write it. It was just having the time to stop and record it and get all that done. So that's what took so long. I mean, the idea for Executioner's Tax lyrically was a song from the first album that I just didn't find it the right song to put it into, and then boom, Blake had the right riffs on the second record, and that's how that song came about. So we're always writing.
And obviously Nightmare Logic did extremely well, like, you know, got rave reviews, lots of album of the year slots as well. When you were making it and like recording the album, did you think to yourselves like, yeah, this is something really special, this is going to do really well?
No. I thought it was better than our first record, and that's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to sit there and be like, all right, this is a record I'm actually proud of the performances on. I think this was the first record where we were actually content with the product, in terms of like, if I had never heard my band and someone put this album in front of me, I'd be like, okay, yeah, this is pretty good, you know. So it's funny when maybe don't think it's funny at all, but when people ask me about the band or something, or they're like, oh, you're in a band, are you big, whatever, some bullshit small talk, I'll be like, look, this is the best I could tell you. We don't suck. Yeah. Like, I promise we don't suck. Like, that's what you're gonna come away with. Yeah. I think worst case scenario. Yeah.
And obviously Power Trip hails from Dallas, Texas as well. And I wanted to ask, what's the heavy metal scene like out there? Is it quite a thriving scene?
It's like non-existent. No, there really isn't one. It's very fractured. Our fans are very all over the place in terms of backgrounds and stuff. You know, there's metalheads, but there isn't really like a group of people working to make any kind of festivals or big, you know, metal events to happen. A lot of the old guard, you know, some like, when you think of like Rigor Mortis or War Beast or anything, those guys don't really come to our shows, that's fine. I mean, we don't care, but no, there really isn't like a unified metal scene. There's some good promising bands. There's a band called Creeping Death and a band called Holy Order. They're both kind of metal influenced hardcore, but in terms of other scene, you know, like, you don't think of the Dallas metal scene. There isn't a Dallas metal scene to think of.
And obviously there's a lot of hardcore music in Power Trip style as well. So when you're at a show, are there just as many like punks as there are metalheads?
Just depends on where we are.
Right.
It gravitates all over the place now. Different. It totally depends on where we are. What the show is. We still get plenty of mixture. Sometimes it's more metalheads, sometimes it's more hardcore kids, punk kids. We don't really have any fear about the kind of crowds that we play to. If you have some sort of appreciation for heavy metal or heavy music, then I think you like our band. Could like our band, so that's why we do stuff like Bloodstock.
Yeah.
And have a great fucking time doing it too.
And obviously you're still out on the road to promote Nightmare Logic, so I will sort of finish off by asking what shows you're doing next, where you're heading off to next.
We are going to Australia and Japan a week for the... we are going to Australia and Japan for a week each, and then we do like less than 2 weeks with Danzig and Venom Inc. Around the West Coast, and then we do some stuff with like Black Dahlia Murder and Skeletal Remains. So besides Japan and Australia, we're gonna tinker or toil around the US a bit till the end of the year. Some easy stuff, and then probably sit down and start working on the new record, like actually focusing on that thing.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sitting down to chat. Well, standing here and chatting with me, man.
Yeah.
Everyone go and buy Nightmare
Logic. Those guys, wherever those nerds walked off to.
But everyone go and buy Nightmare Logic. It's so metal and so brutal. It will make you shit your brains out of your eyes. Cheers.
No, it won't. Please, that's a terrible tagline.